The Florida Panthers have just made another blockbuster move. Yesterday, they acquired Akira Schmid. Today, they acquired Jacob Markstrom out of the New Jersey Devils. It is a 2-for-3 deal. Marky is going back over to the team that drafted him more than a decade ago. Welcome back to Florida, Jacob Markstrom. Now, this is the trade. It goes as follows. The Florida Panthers are receiving Jacob Markstrom and Angus Crookshank from the New Jersey Devils in exchange for Evan Rodrigues, Jesper Boqvist, and Ben Steeves. Now, here's the thing about that. Rodrigues, pretty good player. Ben Steeves, all right, maybe not the best out there, but he's still fine. Jesper Boqvist, pretty all-right player too. These guys are not bad. I'm not going to say the New Jersey Devils got absolutely fleeced here, but because Jacob Markstrom is 36 years old, because he's coming off of what was an .883 save percentage year, quite literally the worst save percentage season he has ever had. Is that true? No, he had an .874 in there in Florida. Okay, no, I take that back. But this one was in 44 games played, so obviously a lot more prominent. Even though Jacob Markstrom is a guy whose league play suffered tremendously this most recent season, he's got himself 2 seasons left at $6 million a year. This is the time for him to prove it, that he is worth the hype, that he is still a winner. He has been in the Vezina conversation in the past. I mean, that .922 save percentage year with Calgary 4 years ago says it all. I mean, that was a crazy year for Jacob Markstrom with 9 shutouts. But it really does seem like the quality of the team that Markstrom is on will have a big hand into whether or not he actually does produce these good numbers. Even in Vancouver, he was good, he was bad, he was good, he was bad. It was up and down for Jacob Markstrom, but still, he had consistent .915, .910, .912, .912, .918 save percentage numbers. This is a guy who, even though he wasn't on the best of the best for Vancouver, was still able to find a way to get it done. But recently, we have seen this good and bad pattern transcend onto the number sheet as well. .922 in 2022, .892 in 2023, .905 in 2024, .900 in 2025, and then an .883 this previous campaign. Because Jacob Markstrom is so old, and because he has such few years left on the deal, you can understand why New Jersey wanted to go down a different path. It should be said, though, Markstrom did post up a .936 save percentage in 3 games for Team Sweden at the Olympics and a .197 goals against. That was absolutely elite. Jacob Markstrom, when he is on a good team, he finds ways to win. Plain and simple. New Jersey, say what you want about the talent on this team, they haven't really had themselves the best run the past few months, so I can understand why Jacob Markstrom's numbers took a bit of a hit. Also going over to the Florida Panthers is Angus Crookshank, 26 years old, 5'11", 183, a left-handed winger who this most recent season scored 36 points in 60 games for the Utica Comets. He had a goal in 8 Devils games as well. He has been in and about the AHL, just up and down. Not saying that Angus Crookshank is the most bona fide NHL stud out there. Really, the meat and potatoes going to Florida is Jacob Markstrom. But if you take a look at the package that New Jersey received, Evan Rodrigues, pretty good player, 32 years old. He is a center winger, and this most recent season he produced 31 points in 69 games played. He had to step up because a lot of other Panthers guys were injured, hence the increased point per game and responsibility for Rodrigues. He's a pretty versatile player. He's a heavy shooter, a playmaker, and a role player. Not somebody that's going to change everything in the game significantly, but just another piece that you can rely on to play the right way. Jesper Boqvist is also out here in New Jersey. 27 years old, 6 feet 190, a left-handed forward who produced 13 points in 73 games played, He has been all over the place. He was in New Jersey 3 years ago. Then he was in Boston. Then he was in Florida. Now he is still in Florida. So going over to New Jersey, once again, there is another element of familiarity there. The Devils are bolstering their team with some legitimately good middle to bottom six pieces in exchange for a goalie that is really hit or miss, depending on the day. And then Ben Steeves is a prospect coming over, 24 years old, 5'9", 170, and he's a guy that was an undrafted free agent out of the NCAA that spent the past few years with the Charlotte Checkers in the AHL. You can say that Ben Steeves and Angus Crookshank kind of balanced the deal out AHL depth guy-wise, so when you're looking at NHL pieces, it's essentially Jesper Boqvist and Evan Rodrigues for Jacob Markstrom. And sure, the value might seem a little lopsided there if you think about what Markstrom could be, but also the fact that he was not great this previous season, and the fact that the Devils were thinking about moving this guy pretty much for the past few months, I'm not surprised that the trade return is a little underwhelming if we're being real here. Let's go out there and read this piece posted by Pierre LeBrun on The Athletic, and the reason we're reading it is because this is a gift article. Pierre LeBrun tweeted this out. He's like, yeah, it's free. Everybody can go out there and read it. So we have some extra info on the Jacob Markstrom front, which spells the end of Sergei Bobrovsky in Florida. Take a look at this. With Markstrom and Schmid acquired from the Golden Knights on Monday, the Panthers have reworked their goalie tandem, seemingly in preparation for two-time Stanley Cup winner Sergei Bobrovsky to walk in free agency when the market opens on Wednesday. As part of the deal, New Jersey will not retain any of Markstrom's salary, which rises to $6 million AAV when a 2-year extension kicks in next season. Markstrom, a 36-year-old veteran with a .907 career save percentage, was a 2008 second-round pick by the Panthers and played 43 games for the club before getting traded to Vancouver. He's coming off a down year in New Jersey, and the Devils were overmatched in their playoff series in 2025, yada yada yada. As the headliner in the return for Markstrom, new Devils general manager Sonny Mehta gets Evan Rodrigues, a versatile forward who was a key contributor on the Panthers' Stanley Cup winning teams. He has posted at least 11 goals and 31 points in each of the past 4 years, 3 with Florida, 1 with Colorado, and averaged 0.47 points per game. He has shown he can play with high-end players and will give New Jersey's top 9 forward group a boost. Boqvist is a bottom 6 forward who scored 4 goals in 73 games for the Panthers. Steeves spent the season in the AHL, racking up 45 points in 72 games. Crookshank similarly skated in the minors, notching 24 goals in 60 games for AHL Utica. Then GM Tom Fitzgerald signed Markstrom to the 2-year, $6 million extension in October, meaning the Panthers are now on the hook for both years of that contract. That almost certainly means the end of Bobrovsky. Markstrom and Schmid will be the team's new tandem, and Bill Zito has around $4 million in cap space per Puckpedia to complete a contract with Schmid and round out the rest of his roster. LeBron says this is a fascinating move by the Panthers to bring back their former goalie 13 years later. Markey is 36 and coming off of arguably his worst season. Last season, the Swedish netminder posted a career low in save percentage, and assuming the Panthers are healthy, they should be a much more defensively sound team than what Markstrom played behind in New Jersey, which should give him a chance to bounce back. He has shown flashes that he still has high-level play left in the tank, including the previous postseason when he was excellent for the Devils in a first-round loss to Carolina. This is still a huge risk for Florida, who hopes for a third Stanley Cup. Markey is a big goalie who relies pretty heavily on his athleticism to make off-schedule saves outside of his structure. At his age, the odds are against him of returning to elite form. The Panthers are also adding a backup netminder in Schmid from Vegas, and we already spoke about that yesterday. Take a look at this. By moving Markstrom, the Devils got out of a contract that, at least based on last year's performance, looked far from team-friendly. The move, however, will presumably require another goalie addition. Jake Allen had a respectable .903 save percentage in 25-26, but hasn't started more than 40 games since 22-23. New Jersey has $12.97 million in projected cap space per Puckpedia. So, this is a pretty reasonable trade, I'd say. No winners or losers here. It's just, they needed to get this done, so they got it done. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. How do you feel about Jacob Markstrom going back over to Florida? Marky Mark is back, baby. I hope you enjoyed this video. And Bye.